Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our Giving Tuesday Nonprofit Leader Panel. Today, we'll be diving into how to drive success this Giving Tuesday, and we'll be taking a close look at how some of our customers have really developed and flourished with Giving Tuesday in previous years. So, today's webinar is presented by CauseVox, and I'll be your host. My name is Candace. Joining us today on our awesome panelists are Jessica DiGiovanni at Adult Congenital Heart Association, Lauren Barnes at the Motherhood Collective, Mike Sacchioccio at World Help, and Pamela Kerr at the Painted Turtle. So before diving into all things Giving Tuesday and getting into the nitty-gritty, I wanted to just give you a brief intro to CauseVox. Many of you may be customers already and know the whole deal, but in case you're not, I wanted to just share a little bit about how CauseVox can work for you. So CauseVox is designed for small fundraising teams, and it's really a community-driven fundraising platform designed to help you simplify and grow fundraising in today's connected economy. CauseVox is perfect for any type of fundraising campaign, so we really help you unlock the power of your community to tap into peer-to-peer fundraising. You can do annual fundraising or, of course, Giving Day campaigns like Giving Tuesday. We also have streamlined donation pages that help you take donations online really easily. And we've really streamlined CauseVox so that you can offload your back office tasks like reporting and receipting onto us, so you have more time to focus on spending time with your donors. And CauseVox, over the last 8 years, has been working with thousands of organizations, from small community service charities and national organizations to global development nonprofits that all trust CauseVox to help them streamline and grow their fundraising. And I've had the opportunity to work with many of these organizations over the last 3 years. And at our core, CauseVox is really driven by the belief that together we can help good flourish. So we've designed our products so that nonprofits can use us to really streamline and grow their fundraising and achieve all that they hope to accomplish. My name is Candace, and I am the Customer Success Lead here at CauseVox, and I'll be your host for today's panel discussion. Over the last 3 years, I've been working here and helping thousands of organizations really grow their online fundraising. So I handle everything from onboarding to one-on-one fundraising success sessions to campaign debriefs, all to help nonprofits identify where they can grow their fundraising on CauseVox. And I'm really passionate about helping nonprofits create the impact that they hope to create. Before going any further, I just wanted to go over today's webinar agenda. So we'll be doing a brief introduction into Giving Tuesday, and then I'll be turning it over to our panelists to really see how they prepared, executed, and wrapped up their Giving Tuesday campaigns. So you'll get to hear really straight from the people that have planned and really worked with Giving Tuesday campaigns over the last few years and really find out how they achieved the success that they did. Afterwards, we'll be doing a Q&A. So any questions that you have that come up throughout the webinar today, feel free to chat those in, and I'll be tackling those later on. And we're also going to be recording our webinar, so in case you miss anything, you'll be able to play it back and, of course, watch it back again and share it with your team. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into Giving Tuesday. So to give you a little bit of background on Giving Tuesday, it was founded in 2012, and it's really a global movement of generosity. It was born out of the idea that after Thanksgiving, you have Black Friday and Cyber Monday, where everyone is spending lots of money on themselves and on other people. But why not Giving Tuesday? Why not set aside a day of giving nationally? And from there, it really took off and grew over the years. And now it is really an international day of giving, and countries all over the world participate as well. So I think what resonates about Giving Tuesday with so many people and so many organizations and donors is that it taps into this spirit of generosity. And really, it's become kind of a staple for many organizations as part of their year-end fundraising. So it's a global movement, and it's propagated by individuals, families, organizations, businesses, and communities in countries around the world. And millions of people come together every year to participate. This year's Giving Tuesday is on Tuesday, November 27th. So mark that on your calendars. We have 62 days left until Giving Tuesday. So plenty of time to still get your Giving Tuesday preparations ready and going. And Giving Tuesday is really available for all types of organizations. So from small nonprofits, local nonprofits, to large organizations, Giving Tuesday is for everyone, which is really one of the nicer things about it, is that it's not exclusive for any type of organization. To give you a little bit of an idea of how Giving Tuesday has grown in previous years, so last year, 2.5 million gifts were given to charitable causes on Giving Tuesday, and $300 million was raised online by causes participating in Giving Tuesday. So it's not just an offline day of giving, it's really grown online primarily as well. So, and to give you a little bit of background into Giving Tuesday, there's this little bit of a misconception that you just sign on and participate and, that's it, Giving Tuesday, people are going to give to you. But we really like to encourage our audience to rally your supporters around Giving Tuesday and set goals and rally them not just on social media, but throughout multiple channels to create more of a community-driven approach to Giving Tuesday. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica DiGiovanni, and she's going to intro us to Adult Congenital Heart Association.
Thanks, Candace. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica DiGiovanni, and I am the development manager for the Adult Congenital Heart Association, better known as ACHA. And so ACHA improves and extends the lives of the 1.2 million adults living with congenital heart disease. Those individuals were born with heart defects and had successful surgeries, corrective surgeries, but comorbidities really increase through their lifespan. And so we are the only organization that is dedicated to solely supporting and educating those adults. And so we do that through patient and medical provider education, legislative advocacy, and research. And so I've been with ACHA for about 8 years now in my role, and I started just one of about 5.5 employees. So I've really seen the organization grow over the last 8 years, and it's been a pretty exciting time and experience. And so in my role today, I manage our grant program. I support our leadership in major donor prospecting and research. And then I also manage our annual appeal campaign, which includes Giving Tuesday. ACHA is a staff of 18 with an organizational budget of just under $3 million. We should be at $3 million next year. And so we have a traditional development department. It's made up of myself as the development manager. And then we have a national director of development who oversees the department and also supervises myself. And so together we oversee sort of the traditional functions of fundraising efforts, like the annual appeal, grants and sponsorships, major and planned gifts, and then fundraising events like galas and receptions. But we also have a whole separate arm of our congenital heart walk department, which is a fundraising walk campaign that we partner with a pediatric congenital heart organization on. And so that department is ran by 2 coordinators, and there's 30 plus walks this year. It raises about $6 million a year. So that income is split between the 2 organizations. And those staff members are managed by ACHA's president and CEO, as well as our partner's president and CEO. And then in addition, with even more growth this year, we actually added 6 community development coordinators. So ACHA is traditionally a national nonprofit organization. Most of our programs are online or on our website. We do in-person educational conferences, but this year we really wanted to hit it from a grassroots level. And so we hired 6 new employees across the country to really drive programming and fundraising from a grassroots perspective. And so their position right now is about a 70-30 to 60-40 split between program and fundraising. And so they're really driving what we would traditionally be calling like our volunteer fundraisers. So smaller, smaller events like partnering with Panera Bread on, a Dine to Donate program, or partnering with their local sports teams to do an awareness night and sell tickets on behalf of the organization. And so they're really driving sort of those local grassroots fundraiser initiatives that our national staff just don't have the capacity or the connections to really do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is myself and ACHA in a nutshell.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. And I'm really excited to hear more about your Giving Tuesday, previous years. Joining us today is also Lauren Barnes from the Motherhood Collective. There might be some audio issues going on, so I'm going to skip forward to Mike Saciocho here with World Help.
Thanks so much, Candace. Hey, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Mike Saciocho. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at World Help. Actually, I love this text that's on your screen right now. It really describes World Help very well. World Help is a Christian humanitarian organization serving the physical and spiritual needs of people in impoverished communities around the world. We really seek to do that through the model of help for today and hope for tomorrow. We work with a lot of different programs around the world, programs such as child sponsorship, clean water initiatives, providing aid for refugees around the globe, and also, sending Bibles to persecuted Christians in places such as North Korea. There are a lot more, projects and programs than that, but certainly don't want to, go on for too long. So I'm part of the communications department here at World Help, and so we work with a lot of digital and as well as traditional means for fundraising. We also have a great development team here that really seeks to connect with donors one-on-one, and build those strong relationships and really put a face to World Help. And a unique part of our fundraising team here is the Children of the World International Children's Choir. This is a group of kids made up from our child sponsorship programs around the world who come to the United States and tour the country and put on concerts, song and dance, and really do an incredible job. And we're so thankful for those kids. As far as what I do, I kind of oversee and work with, digital aspects such as the website, email, social media, digital advertising, and things like that. And, obviously Giving Tuesday has a huge impact on World Help's digital plans throughout the entire year, really. So look forward to talking more about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing about it. And now we have Pamela from the Painted Turtle.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am Pamela Kaur. I'm the annual giving manager at the Painted Turtle. And the Painted Turtle is actually a part of the Serious Fun Children's Network of camps that was started by Paul Newman. And these are camps for kids that are living with serious medical conditions. We're based in Southern California, but we actually have campers that come to our camp all over the country. And all campers and their families attend for free, which is what makes our fundraising so important, especially on days like Giving Tuesday. So as far as what I do is, as the annual giving manager, most individual giving falls under me. So that's all of our direct mail appeals, our online campaigns, stewardship activities, and monthly giving. I'm kind of overseeing all of that on a day-to-day basis. We do have a fundraising team of about 10 people, but that includes our communications, marketing, and events team as well. So not everybody is necessarily fundraising all of the time, but we're all working together as a cohesive group, especially on big days like Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, awesome. So thank you everyone for joining our discussion today, and we're going to get right into it. So as far as Giving Tuesday goes.
Hey, Candace. Candace, I'm so sorry. Lauren Barnes here. I'm finally connected to audio.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you stopped me. Lauren, so glad to have you. And yeah, feel free to introduce the Motherhood Collective.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Barnes. I'm the Executive Director of the Motherhood Collective. We are located in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we are a baby organization when it comes to the majority of your scopes. But we equip and educate women from preconception to postpartum through free evidence-based education and social support. We got our start about 8 years ago, and we started But we have used CauseVox for several years now, both for our annual giving campaign and for Giving Tuesday. And it has worked so beautifully for us because, as I mentioned before, we started from the community level, from the local level. And some of our biggest donors up till now have been the women that we have served themselves. And so the platform of CauseVox has allowed us to really utilize their stories to connect donors to the actual lives that we're changing. And we have had excellent success with our Giving Tuesday and have really done some exciting out of the box things, and I can't wait to share about it.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad you were able to join, and I'm really excited to hear more from you guys. So yeah, diving into preparing. So as far as Giving Tuesday goes, a Giving Tuesday campaign is only as good as you can plan it. So for all of you, what has been your experience with fundraising for Giving Tuesday thus far? So have you done it for multiple years? Was last year your first year? You know, give us a little insight.
This is Pamela. I guess I'll start. So I actually started with Giving Tuesday. I was working at a different organization, and in 2013, so like really pretty much from the ground up. My boss at that time, she had heard about Giving Tuesday and was like, oh, there's this thing called Giving Tuesday. Let's send out an email. And that was pretty much it. And so I knew about Giving Tuesday early on. And so I've been at the Painted Turtle now since May of 2017. So I'm coming up on my second Giving Tuesday here. And last year when I came, I was told that the goal was to raise $25,000 in 24 hours. Because in 2016, we had raised, our goal was 20,000 and we had raised over 50,000. That does include one 20,000 donation, but still even without that, we had gone 10,000 over our goal. So I was pretty intimidated. Everything I had seen before was, you know, like in the $5,000 to $10,000 goal range. Now we did surpass our goal last year. We actually raised over 38,000 compared to the $25,000 goal. But it takes a lot of planning. I'll get into all that later. But yeah, it's been interesting for me to see Giving Tuesday from what I consider the very beginning to now, where it really is such an international movement where everybody, you just mentioned Giving Tuesday and people are like, oh yeah, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Lauren jumping in, and I would echo sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, this is Lauren jumping in, and I was just going to say I'd echo all of that. We've done it for 4 years now, so yeah, very similar from the beginning. I remember seeing vague stuff about it early on. Our first year, yeah, we did an email. We posted a few things on Facebook. 2 years ago, so 2016, we did a pretty interactive online presence day, you know, a ton of posting, a ton of interacting with donors. You know, Facebook Live wasn't as popular then. But last year, we decided to do something really unique-ish in that we did a live stream from a local business all day long and invited our donors to come by and purchase brand new merchandise. Merchandise is very big for our donors, and for Christmas gifts. And so we live streamed the entire day, our admin team of 2, from a local chocolate shop, and built an old-fashioned wreath, which is a part of our logo, on the wall behind us. So as donations came in, we put their name on it, we shouted out their donor. We did on-person camera interviews the entire day, and still interacted on social media, but made it really strong in person as well. And it became kind of a celebration of our community, and it was a ton of fun. But yeah, tons of planning. We'll get into that. Last year, we had a very small $5,000 goal, kind of just as you guys said. And this year it's a smaller $10,000 goal as well, just to kind of generate more community involvement.
Wonderful. Awesome. And so I think, Mike, you had chimed in before.
Yeah, I just want to say, so, you know, it's really interesting, Candace, what you said earlier, that Giving Tuesday was really founded in 2012. I think it's interesting that, you know, for anybody out there listening, you know, if you're in charge of coming up with a Giving Tuesday strategy or anything like that for this year, and you've never done it before, nobody else has done it more than 7 you know, so it's not like it's something that we're all coming into this with years and years and years of experience. You know, at the max, you're only 7 years back. And obviously, you know, as it was just said, you know, Facebook Live is bigger now than it was just, you know, 2 years ago and things like that. So everything changes every year. So, you know, you can really make, you know, a great Giving Tuesday for this year. It certainly is not too late. One thing I wanted to add was, I believe it was in 2016. That was my first Giving Tuesday with World Help. We really started utilizing matching gifts for Giving Tuesday. So basically every gift given on that day is doubled. And we've really seen a big spike on that day since we introduced that. And, you know, our donors have certainly resonated with that messaging, just to, you know, increase basically the bang for their buck, that they can help double the amount of people than they would have.
Yeah, this is Jessica from ACHA as well, and I think I, you know, ditto everything everybody has said. ACHA, you know, I was with the organization when Giving Tuesday started, and so I've been able to see it for the whole 7 years that Giving Tuesday has been around and really drive it. You know, for the first maybe 5 years, not so much driving happening. We fell for sure in that first bucket of don't do, where we sort of encompassed it into our end of year appeal, 1 or 2 e-blasts, and we just assumed people would want to give to it. And so we were lucky to see a couple of $100. But starting in 2016, like Mike, we were able to fall into a matching donor as well. And so in 2016 and 2017, we've really been able to drive Giving Tuesday as a separate campaign outside of our end of year appeal. And it's really been helpful for us to look at Giving Tuesday like that and not just a cog in the wheel of our end of year traditional giving.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, it sounds like you all are coming from different places with Giving Tuesday, but there's also so many common ground and similarities there too. So just to kind of get more of an idea, so how did you plan for your campaign? So you referenced doing these kind of bigger campaigns, some of you. What was your planning process like?
I get, you know, I'll start here. So, you know, the planning really starts, you know, certainly as far out as you possibly can. For us, it really started when we were able to secure that matching gift that I was just talking about, you know, a few minutes ago, and really kind of taking that and realizing ways that we can, you know, most effectively message that. You know, there's some, obvious things that we did to plan, such as, making the website as, friendly to give, especially on that day, so that nobody could go to our website without realizing that their gift was doubled on that day. And also, like it was mentioned in the very beginning, it's not just a social media driven day. Social media certainly helps. And we certainly have strong plans, for social media on that day, both on the day itself and leading up to it in the days and weeks ahead of time. But, also making sure that email has a strong presence, that there are, advertisements on as, many different areas as possible, utilizing things such as Facebook Live, different influencers, advocates, ambassadors, things like that, and really trying to reach as many different people, through as many different ways as possible, especially since that week is so difficult. You have Thanksgiving on Thursday and, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then by the time everybody's tired, you're, getting back to work, you've spent all your money from the past week. And now every nonprofit you've ever had contact with is asking you to give on this day. That's definitely a huge part of the planning is how do you stick out? How can you make a, message this one day, in a unique way, just to kind of, get above it, everyone else that's fighting for this attention and for these donations.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Pamela. You're good.
I was just going to say that, with our big Giving Tuesday goals each year, we've actually we have one family who donates a large sum each year, and that now Giving Tuesday is kind of like their day to match. So our planning process really starts with just reaching out to them, confirming with them that like, okay, Giving Tuesday is this day, this year, this is what we think our goal is going to be. Are you okay with matching that? And I mean, so far this year will be the third year that they've been the match. And they're totally down for it. And I think it's really cool that they get excited about it too, because it's like their day now. So they want to share it to all of their friends too. And like coinciding with that, what we like to do in planning is we come up with a list of what we call champions. People that we know that have a strong presence on social media or are just, they have a lot of connections, things like that, whether they're former donors of ours or sometimes, I mean, even our former campers, they're just really pumping up the Painted Turtle a lot. And so we actually reach out to them in our planning process and tell them, hey, look, this is what's going on Giving Tuesday. Would you help share our message? So that way it's not just us being the ones that are relaying everything that there's a match and that why the Painted Turtle is so great and all this stuff. It's actually coming from people who have benefited from the Painted Turtle or donors who believe in it because of a specific reason. And so that way we know that we have this list of people that are out there helping us get that message out to potentially new donors who haven't heard of us before.
This is Lauren. I'll jump in now. So yeah, we've done so many of those same similar things. So I'm sure for all of us validating to be like, oh, look, we all have some similar methods. So, it's a goal we set way back at the beginning of the year, end of last year. And we've done so many of the same things. What the biggest obstacle we face is that same exact thing, that there's every nonprofit that you care about asking for money on the exact same day. Also, after you've emptied your budget for all Christmas presents in your house and all of those things. So it's, it's great, but it is in an awkward place. I wish we had like pre-Thanksgiving Giving Tuesday. But so we try to utilize, as much of this kind of preparatory excitement as we can in the weeks leading up. We do usually film some beautiful, touching stories that have happened over the previous few years of women who've come through our social support groups, whether it's for postpartum depression or a stillbirth or something really heart-wrenching, but that really tells about what we do. And let them be the ambassadors through these videos that we release in the weeks prior. And then we also do kind of a silent campaign prior to, so that when Giving Tuesday has approached and they go to our CauseVox site that looks like they're going to our website, right? There's already money starting to filtrate in, because it can seem overwhelming, and I try to avoid, especially in our tiny community, donor overwhelmment and donor fatigue at all times. And yeah, so trying to be creative with that is always a challenge.
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like, throughout the planning process, you spent a lot of time planning like alongside your community. And so that kind of ties into um, my next question, which was, how did you prepare your community? And some of you have already answered this, but preparing either your broader community, or maybe you were preparing some of your fundraisers to fundraise for you, or engaging your board and partners in Giving Tuesday. So I'd love to hear more about how you prepared just your community as a whole for Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll jump in again. This is Lauren again. So by partnering with a local business to do our all-day live stream, we really tried to emphasize that our work is community-driven and that there is a constant symbiotic relationship with our community. Last year, we were able to set up shop in like that chocolate shop, like I mentioned, but the owners of the small shop had been direct recipients of our programming. She had gone through 10 years of infertility, attended our support group for infertility, and then had gotten pregnant and walked through all of our programming for pregnancy and postpartum. And so we tried to show in a really tangible way that our concept of raising money for maternal health pours right back into the community. So we did a lot of story sharing even in that way, so that by coming out and donating on Giving Tuesday or buying something from the shop, they were not just, they could see their impact ripple right there in front of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool that you, are on the ground level in that way for Giving Tuesday. You're with the people that you serve, and also with the people that donate as well and make it possible.
I would also say too, as far as community, it's not just the people that you serve, it's also your internal staff. I know for me, like Giving Tuesday is the biggest day of the year for me personally, because I'm in charge of it, but that doesn't mean it's the biggest day for everybody else on staff. And so I think a lot of my preparations as far as community goes is also just getting staff on board, and, like sending out daily, or not daily reminders, but, like a reminder a couple weeks ahead of time, just so that people are aware, like, oh, hey, that's right, when we come back after Thanksgiving, that Giving Tuesday thing, that's happening. And then that way everybody else can start to feel invested too, and then maybe they'll make some donations. I think it's not like, you have to think internally sometimes too, because staff, like, that's your easiest sell, they know what you're doing. Yeah. But sometimes, like, I think as fundraisers, we all just think that everything revolves around the fundraising, but it doesn't. There's always staff members that are more programmatic or more administrative that might not think the way that we do as fundraisers.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Jess from ACHA. Just to sort of tie in the board, and we also have a medical advisory board as a health organization. We really include them in our pre-planning communication efforts to make sure that they are on board with supporting staff and supporting the campaign sort of publicly in their networks. And so we really drive home that it's important for them to make a personal gift of significance that day, as well as share our CauseVox link and their story with their colleagues and their family and friends. So that, when those folks click through to our CauseVox page, they see our board member names listed as donors, and sort of really tie in that sort of peer pressure component, if you will, to really engage our board in that way.
Awesome. So yeah, it really sounds like, as Giving Tuesday approaches, it's all hands on deck. So whether it's staff or board or just your community as a whole and your donors, it sounds like there's a lot of prep work that goes into preparing your community as a whole before even the campaign goes live. All right. So then, as far as preparations go, does anyone else want to add anything? Anything that you thought of that you wanted to share?
I had thought, I mean, again, I mentioned this earlier, but we do reveal top secret new merchandise every year. And so long before that, we're also working with our marketing and design and all that type of stuff on, as someone else mentioned, kind of the ground internal staff level to make it an experience for all of us. Because, yeah, their focuses are all on different things, they're promoting different things constantly, you know, so even though I can be tunnel focused on Giving Tuesday, it's nice to have everybody involved. And so, yeah, preparations for that start long ahead as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So really cool. So thank you everyone for sharing, how you prepare. And now we're going to get into really executing the Giving Tuesday campaign. So Giving Tuesday is here. The campaign is put into action. You're promoting it through different channels, and I'd love to hear more about really how you manage the campaign launch and how you get the Giving Tuesday campaign out there.
Last year, we kind of sat down and realized that, Black Friday starts on Thursday, Cyber Monday starts on Sunday. So why does Giving Tuesday have to start on Tuesday? So we used email to send out a message to everybody who has donated to World Help on Giving Tuesday in the past, and let them know about the matching gift. We had sent out a kind of like a teaser email the week before, and kind of like teasing that there was a big announcement, but not necessarily saying that there was a matching gift. And then to those donors, we said that on Monday that the matching gift had started. So we launched ours actually on the Monday. I'm just trying to get it out there a little earlier. And on that day itself, it is doing a lot, constantly monitoring the website, making sure that all the pages are up, that everything's looking correct, that the donor's journey on the website is as smooth and flawless as possible. It's also, we did rely a lot on email last year, so sending segmented emails to donors or leads that had come in throughout the past year. We also utilized ambassadors, like I talked about beforehand. We partnered with a musician who had just launched a new CD for Christmas, so kind of using that audience as well on that day. It's trying to stand out on that day, and I guess we kind of did that by trying to get in inboxes a day before a lot of others. But we saw a lot of engagement with that one email that went out on Monday afternoon. So I hope that means people liked it. I think they did.
Yeah, going along with that, we at the Painted Turtle, we launched early. We sent what we called a prep email the Tuesday before, so the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and we sent that out to our entire database, and just saying it was kind of like a kickoff, like countdown style. We're like, oh, we're 1 week away from Giving Tuesday, and then what we also did is we had taken video of the couple that matches our goal each year. So we had prepped this long before, getting them on video and saying why they wanted to match every gift, what they loved about the Painted Turtle, why they volunteer, and all of these things. And so that way, everybody could kind of see like, oh, those two, like put a face to the match. And it's not just like, oh yeah, we're having a match. It's like, no, these two people right here, they love the Painted Turtle. This is why they do. And now they're going to double your money. And so I think that was a big help in getting people prepared. And so that then on the day of, we had another shorter video of them just saying like, today's the day, we're going to match your gifts. You know, it was real short and sweet. But then it was a familiar face and a reminder that like, oh yeah, that's right, today's the day. We had also done, to launch it on Instagram stories, we had just some countdown shots. So it was like 4 days till Giving Tuesday, 3 days till Giving Tuesday, tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, you know, then today's Giving Tuesday. And I think that just kind of, you know, those stories on Instagram we find to be incredibly helpful because they're just right there at the top and they're short and sweet. And for us, it was just, especially because we do sometimes have a younger crowd of campers who have recently aged out, and so now they're young adults. I think that really helped too. And the launch of it was just kind of like starting this momentum of like, okay, here's the countdown. We're counting down. It's coming soon. And now, all right, today's the day.
And this
awesome.
is Jess from. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. Just to sort of, you know, mimic everybody, you know, we really try and push Giving Tuesday a week or two on our social platforms because we're a national organization. We do a lot of e-blasting to our constituents. So we try not to bother them too much. And so we kind of keep our prepping to our social platforms mainly. But on Giving Tuesday, you know, I am such a type A planner. I have everything written out and scheduled to the minute, ready to go. So our communications department sort of knows, you know, when things need to be posted or sent and where, and what time. And so we usually do 2 e-blasts. We do a morning launch on the day and then an evening update to our goal. And then we include about 4 to 5, maybe 6 social posts through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We do Instagram stories with fun videos and boomerangs of staff saying thank you and holding up thank you signs and that sort of thing just to get that engagement. But the one other thing that we really do that isn't socially based is we send, myself and our director, send personal emails and make phone calls actually on Giving Tuesday to donors who had participated the year prior. So that if we don't see their funds at a certain day, you know, we have an hour or a certain time, we have an hour carved out to really make those one-on-one personal connections to get those donors to renew on Giving Tuesday.
Awesome. This is Lauren, and yeah, I mean, it's everything that everybody's already said. We try not to bombard our donors' emails that much. So we do, as everybody else said, take a ton of use of Insta stories, a ton. It really, the on-site really helps because there's a lot of fun natural preparation that goes in the Monday before Giving Tuesday, setting up, getting people excited, silly stuff, right, of the director of operations and I doing all the things. And everything that everybody said. And like I mentioned earlier, letting our hosts for the day share why they are intimately connected to the cause. And that gets dismantled out to everybody. It's always great when your people are shouting your praises, not yourself.
Yeah, so it sounds like you do a lot of, you know, social sharing and like leveraging your community, which is really exciting. So once your campaign is actually up and running, you know, it's the day of, you've already sent out those launch emails. How do you like drive momentum throughout the day on Giving Tuesday?
This is Lauren. I'll jump right back in because I was going to keep sharing something and I completely forgot. So as new donations come in, especially if they've created their own page on CauseBox, relating it back to CauseBox here, we will, with their permission, copy and paste what they wrote on CauseBox and share that over social media. And then we will encourage and drive giving right to that specific donor's page, kind of massaging their story and using it as much as we can as the day goes along. And that tends to be a really beautiful way to continue to motivate differently motivated donors, because I can't always tell what's going to connect to someone's heart. My story might not connect, but Judy's might. So that's what we do throughout the day.
Yeah, what we do is kind of similar to what other groups have said, we actually send 3 emails. So we send out the prep email like a week before, and then the day of, we typically do 3 emails. So one like first thing in the morning that I have prepped and ready to go the night before, and that's time to go out before I'm even awake. And then we typically do one in the afternoon, kind of giving an update and just a reminder, like everything's going to be matched today. And then we send out one like evening update as well. We typically hope that we've already reached our goal by the time we send that one out, and then we'll just say, hey, there's still time. I think that kind of helps. And then we also plan on social media. Our goal is to typically post something at least once every hour or hour and a half. And sometimes it's just a photo of a camper and saying, hey, your gift will be matched today. Don't forget about the painted turtle on Giving Tuesday. Other times it's a video that we've prepared in advance. We do try to write out as many of the social media posts as possible beforehand, but we also do try to leave room for flexibility because we don't know what the day is going to bring. And so sometimes we need to change course in the middle of the day. And so I think that's another important part of Giving Tuesday, especially when you are trying to drive momentum, is that you have to be aware at all times of how your campaign is changing, what people are saying to you on social media, how the funds are coming in and things like that, because I think the best way to drive momentum is to be authentic in the day and be like, okay, you know what, we're $5,000 short. Tell your friends, we need your help. I think when you're true to your campaign and what's happening, people see it as that, and it doesn't look like a post that was written 3 months ago when we were all planning this out, even though we did write it 3 months ago. I think leaving some room for that flexibility on the day of really helps.
And this is Jess again from ACHA. So throughout the day, we really encourage our donors and our members to share their story on their behalf. And so we have a really great membership base that just loves to freely share their journey with congenital heart disease. And so, our plugs on social will really be, don't forget about Giving Tuesday, your donations matched, given already, ? Share your story on why below. And so then you get that organic two-way communication between donors on our social platforms, which is really great. And then 2 really sort of simple things. So we have a really unique donor base in that they're driven much more by challenges and like meeting goals than like the nice feel-goody stories, which is very interesting. And so whenever we have a match campaign, that is when we really see our donors compelled to give to meet those thermometer goals. And so one thing we do on Giving Tuesday to really keep from the communication level of social and e-blasts being too much is I will use the story section of our CauseBox page almost as a blog. And so I will provide updates on a regular basis throughout the day and timestamp them with sort of where we are, how our staff are feeling about the day, stories about donors that maybe have contacted the office that day, so that folks that are truly engaged and want to keep updated know to go back to our CauseBox page for those updates, so that we're not just hitting people every hour of the day throughout the day. We don't want to risk people to unfollow us or opt out of our e-blast if they're just not interested in Giving Tuesday, right? So that's one way that I've started using CauseBox in that capacity. And then the other piece that I wanted to also share was our higher end donors particularly have like really competitive streaks and peer pressure streaks, especially when you're talking about like our board and our medical advisory board. And so we like to take advantage of that a little bit. And so last year we figured out a way to create a top donor list on our CauseBox page. And so we do it manually, so it's not like real time updated, but we will put a list of our top 10 donors and update it every time a new donor sort of, disrupts that tier a bit. So that's right in your face with their name and their amount. And so, yes, we do have that donor listing at the bottom of CauseBox, but that's timestamped. And so as people give, the higher donors may disappear from the pages. And so we've really seen success in keeping our top donors right there in your face throughout the whole day, which we've seen success in as well.
Yeah, as a few people have said, definitely using email to provide updates throughout the day, and also, remind everyone, if you send one email, you may be buried in someone's inbox by the time they get to work. But if you send another one around lunchtime, or maybe later in the evening, you just give your email a better chance to be seen. I think World Help has one interesting challenge for that day, and that's the people that we help aren't here. They're in remote areas around the world. So we kind of, even though they can't speak, on that day, we just utilize stories, whether it's video, photo, or blogs that we've, used throughout the year, and kind of, reuse those stories in some ways, but also, go live with brand new ones that we haven't released yet. And really share those stories. And, obviously you're probably tired of me using the phrase matching gift, but really, utilize that matching gift to say, when you give on this day, you can have twice the impact. So for this story of a refugee girl that, who was sick, you can provide 2 refugees like her with medicine. Or this Christian in North Korea, you can provide 2 Bibles for people like this. And really utilize those stories, because the people who we are helping aren't able to get online, or be in videos and say why we're helping. So we have to kind of use what we've had throughout the year. But it's a great challenge, and it really stretches us to be creative on that day. And one thing, I think it was Pamela that said this, that you have to be aware of how your campaign is changing throughout the day. That's absolutely true. That's totally right. That, you have to be monitoring to see how your messages are being received. If one type of story is performing better than another, well then, on that day, you got to make changes quickly so you can really capitalize. You certainly don't want, to waste valuable time on that day without putting forth your best content. So you have to see not just what's best from the marketing aspect, but from what donors are really responding to, and kind of take all that info and respond to it quickly on that day. But everyone's given some really great answers before. This is a pretty good panel you've gotten here, Candace. So good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's so exciting to hear from everyone, because you all come from different places. But I think what's super special about a panel like this is that you all get to connect with each other and hear what everyone else does. And I think that is something that is really important for organizations to get an insight into what everyone else is doing. It's not just like us shouting at everyone like these are some best practices. Like, you guys are in the weeds, going through it, and like talking to each other about it. So thank you everyone for joining. And I do want to be conscious of time. So I might skip this question because I feel like you all have answered it in so many different ways. And kind of go on to post Giving Tuesday. So how Giving Tuesday fits into the bigger picture at your organization. So we've kind of mentioned year end, but how did Giving Tuesday fit into your year-end fundraising?
I think it was Jessica who said this before, how having Giving Tuesday as a separate thing aside from a year-end appeal works for them. And that's what we do too at the Painted Turtle, because Giving Tuesday is a really big deal for us. We have $30,000 that we need to raise this year in 24 hours, and that's huge for us. And so we do it as an entirely separate thing from year end, which means that on my end, I'm planning for our year-end direct mail appeal not to hit homes until the first week of December, because I want Giving Tuesday to happen first and people to be excited about that and go with that match. And then a week later, you know what, they might get something in the mail from us, but that'll have a different match and a different story. And it definitely has a different feel to it. And so that's like a part of my job, is just like actually keeping the two things separate, but still telling compelling stories within each appeal. But I do know that there are other nonprofits that actually use Giving Tuesday as a kickoff to their entire end of year campaign, and start with one theme on Giving Tuesday and then continue that throughout the end of December. And I know that that works for some people too.
Yeah, I'll jump in here because that's kind of what we do. Again, our scope is so much smaller than a lot of you, but I think it's beneficial to have us on here because everybody started somewhere.
Absolutely.
And because of the size of our community, because of the numbers of large donors that our community is all fighting for, we do use Giving Tuesday as kind of our trumpet blast for the end of year-end giving, exactly. And we don't send out millions of appeal letters at the end of the year. We do send out very touching thank you cards for everything that has been done. And oh, by the way, if you were looking for a way to honor someone this Christmas, and we do a lot of like Christmas giving pushes, but we try really hard to stay away from the traditional appeal letter in our community, because in my mailbox alone, I get about 25. And it's just too much. And I know that we're going to just end up in the trash, especially if in our community we've had a good Giving Tuesday. People like to just kind of turn a cold shoulder, like, nah, they already met that goal. So we try to use it as a big trumpet blast, get everybody excited, continuing the messaging through, and then send some really touching thank you gifts.
I would say at World Help, we really use Giving Tuesday almost as like a bridge to our Christmas giving. We certainly focus on Christmas and year end before Giving Tuesday. It starts a few weeks beforehand. But then, we definitely, kind of take that break and really make Giving Tuesday the focus for about a week. And then when Giving Tuesday is done, we get back into Christmas giving. Last year, I mentioned that we were partnering with a musician who had just released a CD. And last year, I want to say it was a day, maybe 2 days after Giving Tuesday, we did a Facebook Live of his concert that he performed here in-house. And that was really cool. Just kind of, since he was very vocal on Giving Tuesday for us, it really was, bridging, Giving Tuesday and then using his messaging to get into the rest of our Christmas giving. So we kind of use it as a transition, I guess. And that was entertaining, and certainly, that putting that Facebook Live on was stressful and difficult, but so worth it in the end. And so I guess I'm not sure if that really makes sense when I say that we use it like a bridge to our Christmas giving, but I'd say that's how I view it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It all kind of like ties in together in one way or another, and they definitely play off of each other. So whether you keep it separate or you incorporate it into your year end, it's definitely all around the same time, and you can use different parts of Giving Tuesday to, even further fuel your end, it sounds like. So really cool. So also, Giving Tuesday, sometimes you get a bunch of new donors, and it does hit a different crowd than maybe you typically see. How do you follow up with your donors?
The final email that we always send the day after. So on Wednesday, we send out an email again to our entire database, plus any new donors that we've received on that day. So like literally on CauseVox, I'm just exporting who gave to Giving Tuesday and adding that to my list of people to email. So that way everybody who donated to us, it's truly just like a thank you email. There's no ask in it. It's really just, you did it. Oh my gosh, thank you. Look at what you've done. We raised this much money from this many people. We can't thank you enough. And we just kind of leave it at that. But it's, we also always try to obviously incorporate it back to the impact that our donors will have on the Painted Turtle campers. But yeah, I mean, I think, and then we also post thank you messages all over social media as well, and like kind of showing the thermometer exploding a little bit, like if we've reached our goal, just to let everybody know that we did it and it was because of you. Like we try not to say anything about us. We're like, look at what you did. You did this yesterday.
So at ACHA, we do similar e-blast and social posts the immediate day following in that morning. And that incorporates our membership as well as the donors, because I'm feverishly entering them into Razor's Edge as they're making their gifts to CauseVox. And so that's what my Giving Tuesday looks like. And so in addition to that, we really pride ourselves on personalization. And so in addition to that, within the following week, I will send, or my national, we split our donors up as tiers. And so myself and our development director will work on personal thank you emails or calls to all donors, regardless of how much they gave. And then in addition to that, they all get handwritten thank you notes from our staff or our volunteers. And so we really drive home the thank you piece of that within the following weeks post Giving Tuesday.
Yep, this is Lauren from the Motherhood Collective, and yep, same as everybody else in email. Lots of beautiful social media images that circulate, and then we encourage, of course, all our donors to share them to show what they did. You know, like this wasn't us, this was them. And then same handwritten thank you notes that go on our stationery that our volunteers sign personally, adding a little note. Yeah, so same thing.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to this. It's kind of, just about the same thing, utilizing email and shareable graphics for social and handwritten thank you notes. So, they may not all be immediate. Some are, but obviously like the handwritten thank you notes take a little bit of time. But, in the days and weeks following, they, are certainly thanked and are told that they're very appreciated. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think, follow up is something that really helps retain those donors that you all bring in through, different channels on Giving Tuesday. And so it sounds like you all do a really good job of just making sure that everyone gets a thank you, which is really essential. So before we wrap up here, I want to give the opportunity for our attendees to chat in some questions. If you have any questions right now for any of our panelists here, now is the time to chat them in. And we'll wrap up by doing a quick looking back and looking forward. So if it was your first Giving Tuesday, what advice would you give yourself?
Realize early on that it's its own appeal, and don't just assume if it's a part of your end of year, people are going to want to give.
I think one of my favorite pieces of advice I ever received was to have some seed donations planted before the day, which I think really helps build a community. So like last year, I made a donation on our CauseVox site on November 5th or so, like super early, just so that I was that first person so that nobody else felt like they had to be the first. And then I started telling, as we got closer to the day, I started telling staff members as I was prepping them. I was like, hey, you can make a donation now. You don't have to wait till Tuesday. It'll still be matched. And so then by the time the day of started, we already had a few $100s just sitting there already. So, because I think that just kind of helps the community, even if somebody on the East Coast wakes up at 6 o'clock their time, which is 3 o'clock to me, but they see that people are already given. It's like, oh, okay, I got to get on that. And I didn't hear about that until really last year. And I just thought that was a great thing to do to get the party started.
I would echo what someone was saying earlier about just be flexible on the day. Be prepared to have all focus on that. Yes, have your scheduled posts. Yes, have all that. But be so supple and ready to jump at whatever new leads present themselves, and be vocal. And the Facebook Lives really helped us. We had people checking in through the day, the same ones with those competitive streaks to make sure that they were staying up there on the leaderboard of high donors. And but it kept us, we were always active, but the ones who wanted to seek us out were seeking us out. The ones who didn't really care to could just kind of mute the video for the day, but we weren't going to be muted in all of their feeds for the rest of eternity. So just, share your personalities, have a ton of fun. I think the generation that it's really trying to attract is this new up and coming, level of donors who are very attached to their devices. So be prepared to interact with them.
I think in the beginning, in the kind of do and don't slide, it kind of echoed that don't just, assume people are going to give. You really have to prepare. And that's what, you know, I would say. You know, it definitely takes work, and just because it's Giving Tuesday, that doesn't mean all of your donors are just going to hand money over to you. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of meetings, and a lot of creativity, but it is a fun day. It's a great day, and a lot of impact is created, you know, from funds raised on Giving Tuesday, but certainly can't go into it, you know, without a plan, or, you know, just thinking that you'll get to it on that day. I would definitely start thinking about it, you know, a few weeks out minimum, or at the earliest, but, you know, definitely takes a little bit of planning.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And so then, you know, if so we just took a look at, you know, what advice you'd give yourself, but what are your plans for this year?
I guess I'll go. So, like I had mentioned earlier, we're upping our goal this year to $30,000, and we do have the same family agree to match that, which is great. So we've already got that going. And really, like, our timing seems to work well for us. We've done it for a few years now, where we send out a prep email beforehand, then we send 3 emails the day of, a thank you email after that. So I think we're going to stick with that. We're going to be changing up the theme a little bit. We don't want it to look quite the same. We've got some ideas for some new videos. I think this will be the first year that we're going to go live on Facebook. We're already having our planning meetings and brainstorms. And I think it's really, as soon as you can, start planning with your team. Just start, like, even if it's just an initial brainstorm, like, what should Giving Tuesday be? You know, I mean, I think it helps a lot to just get it on everybody's brain, because then when other things do pop up between now and then, you can be like, oh, wait, let's save that for Giving Tuesday. That's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah, same. This is Lauren, Motherhood Collective, and last year worked so well. Of course, we're upping our goal, and in the process of working with some matching donors as well. And this isn't very exciting to you, but we're debuting baby onesies for the first time as our hot commodity. And so just having something brand new that are really cute screen printed items have never been seen before. So we're hoping that generates, you know, what we usually do is you can either purchase it for this amount, but if you donate, you'll get it for free, you know, at a higher level. And so we just incentivize as much as we possibly can in some new and exciting ways. The CauseVox page will be updated with new color theme, all that kind of stuff to make it look like, oh, I haven't seen this before. Already making the videos, already doing that kind of things. And yeah, brainstorming started a long time ago, but we love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think, you know, we know what's worked for us in years past. So a lot of what we're doing is through, you know, like A/B testing in previous years. So we have a good idea as, you know, to some of the strategies that we're planning on using. But obviously things like social media change all the time. So there are a lot of new tools that we have to use now to expand the reach of our messaging that we haven't had in years past. So it's kind of utilizing some of those new aspects that either are new for this year or just are things that we haven't used in years past. So, you know, I think a lot of the general messaging will be the same, but we'll probably switch it up a little bit in terms of how, you know, we look to you know, expand that reach in the weeks and days beforehand.
Yeah, and this is Jess. Sort of same thing, you know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. We've seen 2 successful Giving Tuesdays in the last 2 years, so we will probably be doing a lot of the same that we've been doing. In this last year, we've really seen our Facebook fundraising really organically increase dramatically. And so that's one area that right now we're sort of grappling with. How do we incorporate into our Giving Tuesday? You know, we the last 2 years have really used CauseVox as the driving platform, but how can we capitalize on Facebook fundraising? And so do we do a pre-post 2 weeks out and say, you know, create a Giving Tuesday campaign on Facebook, and the funds that you raise by Giving Tuesday go to our CauseVox campaign? So we're sort of throwing ideas around right now, and that's one new aspect we're probably going to be adding into our communications this year.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you all have already have a lot of plans in place already, and you're also still brainstorming some most effective, um, best practices. So it's been so exciting to just hear from each and every one of you, and I really thank all of the panelists here that have come and shared today. We do have a couple questions. If anyone needs to go, if any of the panelists need to hop off, completely understand because we're a little over time, but I do want to go over maybe just one or two questions here. And so this is for anyone. Can you speak more to how you use influencers to help promote your Giving Tuesday campaign?
I can speak a little to that. This is Pamela. We, like I had mentioned earlier, we do have what we call our champions, people that we reach out to ahead of time, asking them just to help share, like either share their story or share a post that we made, or just even email out, forward an email along. And what we really do, we carefully select those people because we know that they're already invested. And what we also do is we send them a toolkit. So we do, and it's nothing major. It has like a picture with our logo in it that they can use to share. If we have some imagery that we know we're going to use, like in the very beginning in the morning, we can send that along too. We also will just like send a couple of links out, like a link to the CauseVox page. So we can just let them know, hey, why don't you, if you have a chance, just share this page, if nothing else, and I think that really helps because then our champions, they feel like they know what they're doing. It's not just us out of the blue being like, oh, hey, share a post, like we're kind of giving them some direction. And then honestly, as far as we're concerned, whatever they do that day is fine with us. We will draft like a few tweets that they can tweet out or a few Facebook posts, things like that. But whether they use that language or not or change it, we don't totally care because it's coming from them. It's not coming from us. And I think that really helps. Like somebody else had said earlier, when it's not us talking, it's better.
Awesome. And so, then on a different train of thought, Gloria asked, what if your executive director doesn't encourage employees to participate in Giving Tuesday?
Schedule a meeting with your executive director.
Yes, that's the hard one.
Yeah.
Send them this link. I think I'm all for effective communication. So I would communicate and share why you think this is valuable and maybe some stories of how you think it could be implemented a tad differently. But I mean, if they don't encourage involvement, it could be for a different reason. Perhaps they know your donor base better than we do. And but communicate.
Yeah. At ACHA, we have 100% staff giving every year. And one of the key things that we use in our communications to staff is that grant funders particularly, it really carries weight to say that, 100% of our board plus 100% of our staff give to this organization because we are so committed to the mission. And so it's a helpful thing to have in your back pocket when you're talking to funders. And so maybe that's a way that you can sort of see have your executive director sort of understand the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So thank you everyone for sharing. I think that will wrap up now, but all of you have shared such valuable insights and really dove into Giving Tuesday and how you've seen success. So thank you everyone. And, please feel free if anyone still listening has more questions about Giving Tuesday, feel free to follow up with us. I'd be happy to help. You can always email support@causevox.com. Happy to help answer your questions on Giving Tuesday. All right. Well, I'll be sending out the recorded webinar and the slides probably sometime tomorrow. And thank you everyone again for joining and listening. And special thanks to our panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a
Bye,
good rest of your day, everybody, and have a happy Giving Tuesday.
Thank you, Candace. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.